Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Anchor of the Week. My name is Courtney.
And my name is Lucas. We're an initiative of Hope in Our Creek Community Church in London.
Each week, we'll discuss different topics relevant to faith and Christianity in today's culture.
We are here to build a space for the church to share our experiences and challenge one another to grow in living like Jesus.
Cool. Well, hello. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to a new day, a new discussion. How you doing, Lucas?
Good.
There was a long enough pause in front of that I...
Because I was
I'm
actually
skeptical.
thinking about it, but I think it's just good to actually sit down and like have a conversation.
That's true.
It's like I've
Interesting
been
you said
running.
that, though. Yeah. I actually realized
Yeah.
quite recently, I don't know, could have been the past year and a half, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But when people actually ask me how I am, I do try to think before I say I'm good. So I
That's
gave
good.
you some shade for that, but because how often is that a natural reaction? Just to be like, oh, I'm good. But are you good?
Sure.
Anyway, that's not the podcast topic, but I
No.
think that's really good.
But it's true because I don't know if it is only because we're in a big city
Maybe.
and like if you're working on customer service or whatever, it's just like such a common thing to be asked like how are you, but they don't actually mean it.
Yeah,
So you just
exactly.
like
It's like, hey,
quickly say good.
you all right? You doing
Yeah.
good? How are you? But it's true.
But
Anyway,
I'm good. Yeah.
actually good, really good.
We've been running. We have had Easter.
The
And
Easter outreach with the church.
yes.
Amazing.
And
Which you guys saw a little bit on the Anchor on the week. No, the Anchor of the Week on the Streets, aka the Anchor
Mhm.
of the Streets, aka something else probably.
Well, it was our first thing, so our first time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the setup and how everything
Yes.
works was a little bit
Every time it shall improve, hopefully.
yeah.
That's
But
the
hopefully it
that's
will
the goal.
sound better next time.
Yeah. But it was fun. I really liked
Yeah,
it.
it was good. We
Yeah.
got to hear the people and just
Yeah.
like I don't know. I feel like we were more part of Camden.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which if you guys don't know, which I feel like maybe we should have said as well, like Camden is like a borough of London.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening from not London, you might be like, what's this Camden
Yeah.
place you always talk about? But that's where our church is based. So
Yeah.
that is the little background, I guess.
Little
Context.
insight.
Insight,
Mhm.
exactly. Anyway, should we get started on today's topic? I mean, I'm
Yes.
having a good time. We could just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the topic of today is what are you doing this for?
What are you doing this for?
I think it's a really good question.
Yeah.
We should all be asking ourselves
Exactly.
regularly. Wait,
I mean,
yeah.
I love the ambiguity of it, though. Is that how you even say that word? That could have been totally wrong. Ambiguousness of it, What are you doing this for? Yeah. Anyway, I
No,
just like that. It's very like
dramatic.
It's dramatic.
Yeah, it's
We
dramatic.
all know that I always go for the drama.
No, yeah.
But
It, because it really makes you like think
exactly.
or doubt.
Yeah. And the reason that it's so vague is because it applies to literally every area of our lives. Like, I think, generally speaking, of course, not everyone believes this, but very general speaking, across religions, across ideology, majority of people, I think that there's some sort of like purpose or something. Whether that purpose is God, whether the purpose is being a good person, whether that purpose is, go through all the different religions and there's something, right?
Yeah.
Or even, if you're not religious at all, a lot of people, there's something behind what they're doing, because they
Yeah.
want to make the world good, or like change the world or improve it, or even if it's like not for good, people do things for a purpose, even like in the not so good way. Yeah, so I think everyone agrees that there's a reason why we do what we do.
I guess is we do value our time in a way, right?
It's true.
So it's like
Hopefully, we're not wasting it.
like I'm pretty sure that everybody behind like in their unconsciousness they're like, okay, I don't want to do this for no reason,
Yeah.
like with no meaning whatsoever.
Yeah.
I want to leave something behind
Yeah,
that is actually concrete and what I
Exactly.
stand for.
exactly. I mean, that's the goal, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, life is about legacy, right? And life is about
Yeah.
like what do we leave behind? Because I think it's a very not full concept if you think that like your life starts and ends with you. It doesn't, right? Like, no matter what we do, like, we're impacting people all the time. Like, as we live, we're impacting those around us, you know? Like, it's connection and it's like chain reaction,
Yeah.
right? So to think that what you do doesn't actually have a lasting impact, you know, whether you're still there or not, I think is a really maybe sobering mindset to have when you ask yourself, what am I doing this for? Um, yeah. And what is this? Maybe we should also like kind of talk. I mean, we kind of talked about it. We're like, oh, it's everything. But I think let's like zero in a little bit more
Yeah.
on some things, on some, to keep it less of like a vague, kind of lofty concept, you know? Yeah. Do you have anything you want to zero in on? Because I could keep talking forever. We all know this.
No, I think, well, like, for me, it's like, what is that you're, like, just keep aside your job and, like, all this stuff. Like, the, this thing that we have where we're like, it's our own kind of, project in a way.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes we have this kind of, like, we don't say it to ourselves, but we have, like, this project kind of,
It's like, this is
in,
my lane.
yeah,
And I'm
kind of,
going in it and I'm doing what I do.
yeah, so,
Yeah.
like,
Why?
yes, and the reason, yeah, like why we asked this question,
Yeah.
what is this? Is
Yeah.
that like what are we doing this project for?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's so easy to get caught in the mundane of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And which is not necessarily bad. Like sometimes life is not always the most exciting thing ever, and like that's okay. But like we get so into like routines and into ruts. I'm like, oh, I just do what I do, but like why?
Yeah.
You know? And then it starts to lose meaning, and it starts to lose passion, and it starts to lose like depth, even.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of make me think of like me as a child of my parents. Like when I think back, like before, of course, I didn't think about what they were doing, but like now I could just say, could see like the value before or the things that they were valuing
Yeah.
when they were doing things.
Hmm.
Like now, like before, in the now of before, I didn't think about it, right? But now, when I see all the results and what do you call when the reputation, you know, I could see like what their goal was,
What their
what
goal is, yeah.
this was, you know,
Exactly.
what they
When
were
you
doing
have
this for, you know.
well, hindsight is 2020, right? Like you see
Yeah.
clearer, like when you're looking back at something and you're like, oh my gosh, like that's how that all aligned, right?
Yeah.
But again, when it's in the moment, then it's hard when you don't know what you're going to be looking back at, you know, in
Yeah.
10 years, like, oh, that's what that was for, you know? And it's like, how do we still keep, like, I guess our priorities straight in that sense?
I think that that's the reason why this question is so important,
Yeah.
because it keeps us kind of ahead, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you learned about the this after it already happened, then it's because you're not actually planning. It's like
Exactly.
you're not actually asking yourself the question and
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, like, God will use us no matter what we do, right? Like, if our heart's for Him, that's awesome, that's great. But, like, I think about it like a wet towel, you know, like what will drip off of it will drip. But if you, like, know what to do with it, you know what the purpose is to get the water into, like, the bucket, you will wring it out. You know, you still have that towel either way, and it's still dripping, like, droplets into the bucket. You know, but if you know why you're doing, like, what you're doing and, like, what the purpose is, you get to, like, take it all, you know? And I don't know, like, I'm like, now I'm going to swerve off to, like, thriving, not surviving, you know? But when we know why we're doing things, you know, and we have a clear purpose and a clear vision, like,
Yeah.
like we're able to get so much more out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, to actually, like, wring that towel and be like, this is what I'm doing. And then your eyes are, like, open to see, like, oh, this can to be part of this, and I can do that
Yeah.
and that, and this works with that. And, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you become much more, like, excited about life.
Yeah. I think that's like. I mean, I just loved how you were just doing a whole visual example. You know.
Yeah, thank you. I was holding it here. I don't know if you saw. In my head, it was
Yeah.
white, but that's.
But oh, sorry. Um,
Water
but
breaks in. It's okay.
but I think it's like like another example is like you know, like the soldiers in war, right? Like if you're just given a gun and then just run, you know, somewhere, but you don't
You don't know what you're doing.
you know, you don't know what you're doing.
Who
Like
you're fighting against, but yeah.
yeah, it's like yeah, you could be shooting one of your partners down, kind of
Exactly.
thing, like, which, yeah, it could happen in real life as well. Like not shooting gun, but just like
Yes, please
taking
no.
your friend down, on
Yeah,
something more emotional or whatever. But
yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I see you. That's fine.
um, but yeah, like if you don't know what you're fighting for,
Hmm.
you don't know what you're doing this for,
Exactly.
then like how can you actually be a very um useful on where
Yeah.
you are at? Like
Yeah.
how can you take the the highest potential or like the most of the potential of
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. And I think that's very like it's very big picture in that sense.
Yeah.
When you understand the big picture, then
Hmm.
it's so much easier then to understand the
Yeah.
goal, the destination.
Yeah, and I think as well, like it just makes me think a lot as well about when when we are like in our first steps into something,
Mhm.
and then we are asked to do this, and we're like, why do I have to do this?
Yeah.
You know, but that's because we don't see the bigger picture, right? We don't
Yeah.
know why we're doing this for.
Exactly.
And yeah, like that's on the other side of why it is very important to ask ourselves a question and actually be interested in knowing it, because
Exactly.
as well, you might not be interested at all, and like then why you there then? If
Exactly.
you're not interested in what you're doing.
Yeah. But I think it's as well, it's a lot of trust. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because okay, like maybe like right now I'm not interested in doing like I don't know, admin work, but if I know that what I'm working for is, to fill a need that maybe like
yeah,
is needed in the church or whatever it might be, or if I like trust okay, God will one day use this for something in the future. Don't you love when you look back and you're like, "Oh, I finally get like why I had that experience is because now, like, I need that. I needed to know what I
yeah,
learned then, which made no sense. But when you have the bigger picture of, like, even just trust, I think
yeah.
it really helps a lot.
And you need it for that one thing that you want to do now. Then,
Exactly.
you know,
Because what if we don't get to do what we want to do now?
you
But
will later. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And it's the process
Mm,
of it, which is a beautiful thing. But it's in the process where we, like, find out the state of our heart. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because I think what are we doing this for? This is actually a really good segue. Thank you for like the next section that I kind of wanted to like touch on here. But like when we're asking ourselves what are we doing it for, like why am I doing this thing that seems like it has no like correlation maybe to like the big picture that I want, or the thing that I feel like God has given me a vision, to do or something or a word. It's in this period where we really examine our hearts,
Mm,
right, to see okay like if I'm not willing to serve at this low position or this irrelevant position that I think I'm in comparison to the word,
mm,
then maybe that there's something in me that needs to get like uprooted
mm,
before I get to the big picture,
yeah.
right? And I think that's a really great like second kind of like turn or whatever, little dip for this conversation because a lot of times like what are you doing this for? Like if you're in a Christian circle at all, you've probably heard, oh, check your heart. I know like a Christian comedian made a whole thing about it or whatever, but it's something that we always, just check your heart. Like, why are you doing that? Like, are your motivations right? Which is funny and it's true
Yeah.
as well, but also I think it can get a little bit and like when sometimes as Christians we like say, we're not gossiping because we're just like, just want to pray for you. So just tell me all your
Mm,
or tell me Lucas, tell me all of his someone else's, like stuff, right?
mm,
So we can pray about it. Sometimes I think the whole check your heart thing can get very
yeah.
accusatory sometimes. So I think we need to check our heart whilst we check hearts. You know what I mean? But I think in general, the whole concept of like, wait, why am I actually like doing this? Like, is it for
Mm,
good? Is it for bad? Is it like, am I doing it the right way? Am I not doing it the right way? Like, and by the right way, I mean like, yeah, am I complaining about it? Am I being obedient about it? Like, there's so many different aspects to it.
yeah. Like, yeah. Sometimes we'll have fights with my brother, like a lot of them. But
Sounds like siblings.
and like I remember like maybe on purpose, like calling him out in front of my parents. I was saying like, "Oh, Ezekiel, why were you doing this?" Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like maybe what I was doing was right at taking it out of context,
That's it.
You see,
That's it.
but the heart behind it was
Yes.
evil, basically.
Yeah.
You know.
You were trying to get something good out of yourself. You're trying to make yourself look better in front of him.
Yeah,
Or him look bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like, yeah, like that's something that I like also keep in my mind a lot because my parents were like, "No, you're not right, Lucas," you know,
Wow.
because what is coming out of your heart?
Good job to his parents. Well done.
They was like, yeah, like, and I will be like, "Why? I didn't do anything." Yeah, but the way
Yeah.
you brought this out is not
Yeah.
right. You know?
That's so
So
good.
yeah, and yeah, I guess like that's something that as well we can take out of this question. Like, what are we doing this for?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Exactly.
You know, it's like,
Exactly. Big picture and also like in the small, like little
yeah, in the very
motivation
small.
things. Right? But I love what you said. Like someone's a lot of times it's doing the right thing, but just taking it out of context,
Yeah.
right? Maybe like a private like thing with your brother, like, hey, why'd you do that? Like, man, like you're better than that,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
but
As
then you,
opposed to like, hey mom, so you know, like it's
yeah,
totally different. Um, but I think that's a really great way to put it. Like, yeah. Right thing, wrong context. Sorry, my brain
yeah,
is like my brain loved that, and she's
yeah,
going fast now. Um, but yeah, because I'm thinking about how many times that is something
yeah. Uh,
that I do.
we all do it, not,
Yeah,
and I think it's like also like the it's like the adult way of getting away with things
yeah,
because like before as kids we would like be like just in front of like saying it straightforward, but
yeah.
now as an adult we try to be polite, but it's like
Exactly.
it's a
It's
fake
passive aggression.
politeness.
It's
Yes,
passive
yeah,
aggressive.
passive aggressive. Yeah,
So, yeah, well, it's not cool.
yeah,
Honestly, I wish we could just eradicate passive
yeah,
aggression. But it's true, right? Because it feels like a lot more like socially acceptable. And I think this applies, this goes like not even just Christians. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that we're all on the same page that
mm,
this is just something we all do. You know, like it might be the truth, but if you take it slightly out of context, we gain something from it. You know? And so I
yeah,
think that's another thing. Why are you doing this? Like, what are you doing this for? Are you doing this for your self promotion? You know, whether it's for your reputation, is it for you to look better? Is it for you to
to
gain
gain
something?
something.
Look at us
Amazing.
go. Yeah, but it's so true though, right? Like,
Yeah,
and I don't think about how much of our lives, like, we go through, or like, I'm saying we, me, us, all of us, like, trying to get something out of it. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Like, but it's true. And I think the tricky thing is that it's not necessarily like a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? Are you picking up what I'm putting down, as people say?
not yet.
Not yet? Okay. I wasn't sure if I should keep on talking or not, so or elaborate more. But basically, like, you know, make it for yourself, you know, like, you know, do what you can to get ahead, not necessarily ahead of other people, but you know, like you work for that promotion, you like all this,
Wow.
right? Like it's not inherently, I don't think it's bad in the sense that a lot of it is like determination, reaching your goals, you know, like being the best that you can be. But a lot of times, being the best that I can be puts someone else down.
Mm,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Because we're insecure. Hello, my name is Courtney. I'm insecure. So is every other human on this planet. No big deal, right?
yeah,
Like, but because of that, you know, because we have this constant thing, kind of ideal being told to us that we have to, you know, kind of move forward and hustle and no hustle. Yeah, the hustle is that
yeah.
what
The
it's called?
hustle. I guess so.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
drawing
wrong
a
person to ask because I'm not English, but whatever.
yeah,
I think so.
yeah, like yeah. I think that's what I meant.
But yeah,
But you know what I
like
mean?
to
Like
hassle between, like,
hustle, not
yeah.
hassle.
Oh, okay.
It's different. My mind is thinking bustle, but that's also a very different
Oh,
word.
okay.
But you know, like the grind, shall we say? Like hustlers gotta hustle. Yeah, that's a thing. Daniel, can I get a confirmation? That's a thing. Like hustle, like hustlers. Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
we're just checking with. I feel like the camera guy that would know this the best. Clearly, he did not want to jump into this conversation any earlier and save us, but that's fine. But you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
very much about the like going for it and like promoting yourself in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I at what cost? I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely not like a like a group player, or
Team
like
player.
team
Yeah,
player. There you
yeah,
go.
yeah. It's not a team player thing.
I don't know why this makes me think of the phrase "you go, girl" kind of thing. You know,
I don't know, but thank you.
like I don't know, like I feel like in this kind of topics,
Yeah.
that a lot of times people say like,
It's a lot of
you,
self-empowerment.
yeah,
Empowerment is not bad,
yeah,
right? But it's like, how are we being empowered, and what are we being empowered for? You know, are we empowered through the Holy Spirit to like, bring like hope and freedom and revelation and transformation, or am I empowering myself to be better than you?
hmm but that I guess that's when we bring the question is like, are we,
What are we doing this for?
yeah, what are we doing this for? Who are we doing this for?
And who are we doing this for?
Are
Yeah,
we doing it for ourselves or are we doing it for God?
exactly. But also, like, because this is the world that we live in, like, it will always be our natural, I feel like, tendency to do it for ourselves.
Yeah,
So please have grace with yourself if you're realizing in this moment that you're doing a lot of things for your own glory, for your own fame, reputation,
yeah,
whatever. Like, yeah, don't let this be something that all of a sudden you feel bad about yourself for, because it will always be, at least from my experience, a lot of times it's, again, as we said about hindsight, it's been like, oh, I actually don't think I did that with like the best intentions. Like, I think I was trying to gain something from that.
yeah,
Okay, well, next time, Lord, show me.
yeah,
Like, be simple about it in that sense, because it could be something we so overcomplicate.
yeah.
You
Like,
know.
I mean, as well, like I find myself like doing things that make me look selfless, so
Mm.
that I look selfless. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. Or you like say you like no one has to know, but like you like say that extra line so
Yeah,
people like sympathize for you as well.
yeah.
Whatever kind of validation that we're like needing and seeking that day,
It's
different kind of validation.
all kinds of manipulation.
It's true. You know. It's true. Humans are world-class manipulators, but you know what?
Mm.
That's all right. We're learning and getting better every day.
I guess we don't know better.
That's why we have God,
Yeah,
literally. But it's true, and I think it's the simplicity of just like realigning. And it's like, oh God, like I don't know why I'm doing this, or I think why I'm doing this is not for the right reasons. Can you just like show me what the right reason is? Or like, hey, like I want you to know I choose to align with your reason, you know?
yeah,
Because we can talk about all of this and then be like, okay, well then how do I have to constantly be like checking my heart and like, am I doing this for the right reason? Am I doing this for the big picture? All these different things. But I
mm.
think the key here is simplicity.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate. Your heart's already a very complicated thing, like, and so are our minds because this
Yeah.
involves both our heart and our minds. Like, don't try to
Don't
overcomplicate.
overcomplicate things.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, like, I don't know, I guess something like sometimes I forget and I have to remind myself with this question, what I what am I doing this for?
Mhm.
It's like a lot of the times it's like I remember I want to see people encounter the same God that I encounter, you know.
Yeah.
I want them to experience the same thing I did, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a Christian because just because something I believe. I encounter him. I
Yeah.
know I have experienced his love
Yeah.
and I've seen him done it, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just something I've read on the Bible and I'm like, "Oh, I've heard he does this," you know, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Okay.
No,
Cool.
I've seen
Yeah.
it. I've experienced it
Yeah.
on my life and I'm like, I want people to see this too.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I just like I mean, this could be a topic, but like when we do it like we're working or we're doing evangelism, like all this stuff, like doing activities that are for the people to reach out to people. We need to
Exactly.
remember ourselves. You know, it's like
Remind
what?
ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, remind ourselves.
Spanglish. I
Span
got you. Don't
English.
worry.
Yeah, like who are we doing this for? What are we doing this for? You know, it's like because we get so caught up on like I get
Yeah.
caught up on like the the
What's in
thing.
it? What's in his
You
hands?
know, the thing. You know, like
Yeah.
the work them doing, like
Yeah. The task.
yeah, the task, this
Yeah.
labor, you know, we
Yeah.
see it as a labor, but it's a
Yeah.
task basically because
Exactly.
a task sounds better, you know.
Mhm.
Sometimes we see it as labor, hard work, you
Hard
know. But
work. Yeah.
task is something that needs to be done to achieve something, you
Exactly.
know.
Exactly.
And when we know what are we doing this for, we're not slaves anymore,
Mhm.
you know. Yeah,
Perhaps.
it
Yes.
worked out. We're not slaves,
It's true.
and we can get out of that pity putty that we put on ourselves on,
Yeah.
and we see that there's a bigger thing
Exactly.
that we're.
I feel like there's like two like typical like reactions or whatever
Mm,
when we're not like aligned necessarily, right? To like, okay, like my heart's good, you know, like God, like I know I'm doing this, you just told me. It's like either the like I don't why am I even here? Like so for example, I'm thinking about like the feeding program that we have like on the street for with our church
yeah,
on Saturday nights. I forgot my days for a second. On Saturday evenings. Which if you would like more information on, send us a message. We'd love to get you
yeah,
involved. Shameless plug. Um but sometimes it can like be like, why am I doing this? Oh, it's so cold. Oh, like there's no one here, or all
it's
the people are
raining.
rowdy. Yeah, exactly.
They're
Like,
rude.
yeah, right. Like, can't predict people. So there's that
Yeah,
kind of thing. You need to say, why am I doing this for? But then you have the other side where it's like, yes, look at me, all passersby. I'm handing out food to the needy, and like, you know what I mean? Like two
yeah,
very extreme, different like things that I think just honestly depending on where we're at and what we're doing, like we can like very easily like swing back and forth from. But it's like okay, like the middle ground of like we're not like self-rejecting, you know, but we're also not like, as we said, trying to
yeah,
gain our own fame from it. Um, yeah, I
yeah,
don't know if that even related to what you were saying, but that was what my brain was like
yeah. And
processing in the moment. So
I think as well, um, once we know what are we doing this for, our minds like are more we are more available for other things. We
mm-hmm.
want to see more. You
Exactly,
know, the person that doesn't know what they're doing there for, or what are they there for, or they don't want to be
exactly.
there, or they
Or
don't.
they only see from like this far. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they only see their labor. The
Exactly,
task.
exactly. Not like the
It's not
reason,
they're
the
not
heart.
beyond.
Yeah.
Because like if we keep using the example of like um the evangelism and all this, like the purpose is not just supplying their needs. It's also being able to reach out for them to have somebody to talk with,
Exactly.
to experience God and all that. But if you only
Exactly.
see that you're serving food,
You miss the bigger picture.
yeah, then you miss the bigger picture, and you don't also want to have input on the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have it, you know, you don't think of like, oh, other problems that we might have,
Because the thing
like
is, when you know why you're doing it or what you're doing something for, is you take
mm,
ownership of it.
yeah, you take
There
ownership.
we go.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
Okay, we can drop the mic. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Push his mic
God.
stand. These aren't really mic drop mics, Lucas. I don't know if you've noticed. They're attached to too many cables.
Yeah, no, we
Um,
can't.
yeah, but it's true, right? And
Yeah.
like, I think ownership is a beautiful thing. You know, possessiveness, possession. Not quite, but
And just imagine if like every task there was, people had ownership of that.
yeah.
Like how much easier would
It's
it
like you
be?
take it like it's yours and you care for
Yeah.
it like it's
How
yours.
much would it flow?
Yeah.
You know?
Or like the new ideas that would happen or you know what I mean? Like
Innovation. Yeah.
innovation. Innovation.
Yeah.
Great word. Well, I feel like we could talk a lot about this topic, but the thing I love
Yeah.
about this topic is that there's so many different like I feel like we were kind of all over the place, but like in a good way. You know what I mean? Cuz I
Yeah.
feel like this
Yeah.
conversation has so many different facets to it. Like we
Yeah,
could go on.
it's like the core to different veins, you know. It's just like
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, it's a, as we said at the beginning, a very vague and general like question. What are you doing this for?
but it's really good to ask ourselves,
Exactly.
what are we doing this for?
Exactly. In
That
like
that's
literally every area of our lives.
that
Yeah.
shows us how important it is to know
Exactly.
why we're doing things.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, to kind of collect our thoughts and to like leave with cohesive, you know, things to think about. You're giving me the face already. Would you like to share, Lucas, your closing statements?
um, I think closing statements. um, yeah, just I guess. I I mean, it's
Do you want me to
just
go first?
I'm. It's like like it's just so like a like we were saying, it's just so broad.
Yeah, it's very
But
broad.
I really like one part where you talked about where like um checking your heart, like actually where is the heart on your on reaction to a certain
Mm.
thing.
Mhm.
It's like what you did is right. It
Mhm.
seems correct, but were you trying to exalt yourself
Yeah.
or something else?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So it's like very important to check ourselves and before we start doing something. It's like I'm anxious to look good,
Mhm.
to to have a reputation. You know,
Yeah.
well, basically means the same thing, but
I know.
um,
Different word.
or to
Yeah.
bring. I mean, we can use that to bring somebody up as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not just we don't have to make it all. Well, yes, we do things for God as well, but like we need to think that we are working as a team,
Exactly.
and we own this
We're all
together.
linked, and yeah.
We own this together.
Oh my gosh. Did that just happen? Did you just
No,
make a High School Musical reference?
yeah, but like yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's very short, but I think very powerful.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Check your heart.
Check your heart. Exactly. For me, yeah, I think I love that we kind of broke it down into kind of big picture. What are you doing this for? And very, as you
Mm.
said, kind of like the detail. Like, why am I saying this comment?
Yeah.
Like, who is this helping? Who is this like building up?
Mm.
But also like what am I doing this for? Like in general, like am I working towards something? But I think even like I don't know, something I'm just kind of like thinking about right now is even if you don't know exactly why you're doing it, like what it's for, know who you're doing it for, you know? And then like trust that you are doing it for something. Because a lot of times when we find ourselves doing things that like make no sense, we don't always have that like promise or that big vision or that goal that we're working towards.
Yeah.
And it's harder to be like, okay, yeah, I know like one day this I'm sure will like will come in handy down the road. But if you don't even know what like lies down the road, it's very hard to be like, yeah, this is why I'm doing this. So I would just like an encouragement as well to like trust that it's for something, even if you can't see what it's for.
Yeah.
Like I know it's super cliche, but like there are reasons for things. I almost said everything happens for a reason, but like no. Um, but like like there is reasons and meaning behind things and behind
Yeah.
life and behind interactions and things that seem like coincidences. Like God is moving. So just encourage on that side.
And I guess as well, we all know who we don't want to be,
Yeah.
and I guess in those times when we don't know what lies ahead,
Mm-hmm.
like to remind ourselves, like, okay, but I don't want to be this that I'm being right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is who I want to be. Like that's something as well, still to achieve.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
to look forward to.
The heart work, the character work,
Yeah,
yeah, it's true.
because it happens a lot of time where we cannot hear God's voice. He's a little silent.
Mm-hmm.
He's working on us,
Exactly.
and that's the best time to
Yeah.
actually,
And that's okay.
yeah.
Exactly. Let him do his thing.
Mhm.
Mhm. Anyway, yes. So we hope that after this discussion, that you will be asking yourself, "What am I doing this for?"
Yeah.
Often. I know that's something that I definitely want to be more conscious, yes, of asking myself. I don't know. Words have been hard for us today. I don't know. It's been a struggle.
It's been a while.
Yeah, exactly. Just dusting off the old mics. But like this is something I want to be more aware of asking myself, not just a principle that like I live by. But
Yeah.
yeah, and
I
hopefully,
guess,
yeah.
yeah.
You
It's,
go.
I think what we can get from this podcast is that um, what we do has value. You
Yeah.
know, it does leave something behind,
Mhm.
and that's why it's important to know what we're doing this for. Is
Exactly.
because we're leaving something behind. We're
Exactly.
leaving an example to
Exactly.
somebody else.
And
We
knowing that everything that you do has value. It doesn't have to be a very. Sometimes that seems almost daunting, but like
hmm,
what you're doing right now, even if it doesn't seem like it has meaning or
yeah,
it's just whatever, like it has so much value and like so much more value, as you said, that we can know. Like maybe this is gonna change your life forever, but it might change
yeah,
generations to come. So,
and it will change you.
and it will change
As
you.
like you were saying, like this is a person, like a what do you call it? Personality development.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly. Yes.
literally that's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Awesome. See, you know what? I said that we could talk about this topic for like a long time, but we'll do our
Yeah,
closing
and we
statements. And
keep
then we
bringing
just
stuff up.
bypassed that. We like kind of mentioned closing statements and we just kept on going. But
Yeah,
yeah, please continue this conversation. Anyone that's listening with us,
yeah,
with the people around you, if you want to share this with someone and then talk about it.
yeah. Have some coffee and ask people
Exactly.
questions. Like
Exactly. So why are you doing this? Maybe don't just like lead with that. Give some kind
yeah, yeah. So just like we did with the anchor of the streets,
of yes.
um, we were basically just asking questions to the people on the streets, and hopefully we steer on them to ask themselves deeper questions.
Exactly. Keep those kind of rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah, so hopefully this conversation, you keep this going with whoever you find yourself with, and with us as well. Just leave us a comment or send us a message through Hope and Anchor Community Church as well. If you'd want a
yeah.
private message, you can address it to Lucas and I.
Please do.
But yeah, we would love for this conversation to keep on going. So well, I guess we'll see you next time for the next conversation.
See you next time.
Thanks again for joining us for today's episode of the Anchor of the Week.
Make sure you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube so you never miss an episode.
We'll see you next time.